Right. So I'm going to load. This is Steam VR. Wider view, both hands should be visible. The view is centered, so if I do something stupid like everything looks very centered, we can see the screen. But whilst we've got more screen real estate, we do have stuttering when I turn. So if I stand here and turn, the view will look stuttery, like it was 30 frames a second, even though it's definitely 60 frames a second in VR. That's what we're getting this way. It looks pretty smooth to you. Okay, so you guys, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. I have a feeling the fact that it's only 30 frames a second bothers me more than it bothers a lot of you guys. Because when I was looking at the footage that recorded and I was doing this, it really bothered the hell out of me. And I know someone else mentioned it. Somebody else did mention it in their on the video that they didn't like it as well in Arizona Sunshine, I think it was. Or was it that? I can't remember. But it seems like overall... So someone's saying, yes, stutters. You see the stutters if you focus, but the overall shakiness distracts you from it anyway. Yeah, I get that. So it might be one of those things where the stutters are less noticeable because people are not really looking at the screen directly. What they're doing is just listening and then glancing at the screen when they need to. This might be one of those things where it turns out the way to do this is to actually have the view minimized and have an avatar and have the chat showing and other things so that people can sort of focus on something while the game is going on in the side. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Right, let's just go back and check. Leave my hands down there. Go like, okay, so... This is going to be weird to watch later on. Right. So I need to close this down and then reopen OBS. Now, everyone agreed left eye was the better one. Still weirding me out, but I'm going to take your word for it. Start the virtual camera, and then I'm going to switch to the NDI view. So let me just... See, if I get this recorded, I can check it myself and see if I see what you guys are seeing. Which is probably going to be the best way for me to really understand why you guys prefer this, even though every instinct about what I'm thinking and seeing is telling me that this should be better. All right, this is using the NDI plugin to get the left eye straight through OBS over the network into my rendering. You can still see the chat. You can see the chat. And more importantly, when I turn, you should be getting a lot smoother turning because it was 60 frames a second. You're getting 60 frames a second. And if I do this, what you're seeing now is the left eye view, which will probably mean the left eye is at the center and the right hand is off to the right hand side, which is going to be a little off-putting. Although I am still hoping I can somehow get a mix. The turning is way smoother. I don't know how you can stand looking skewed off to the left constantly. It's really off-putting. I'm not. I'm not seeing what you're seeing, okay? I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I'm seeing virtual reality. I'm seeing both eyes. And it just, everything, it's impossible to describe. It is impossible to describe. That is what I'm seeing. All you're seeing is what I see through my left eye. If I ran through with my left eye, my right eye closed, it might actually change the way I look at things. Anyway, I think this is smoother, but it is focused on one eye only. The left, which To me, sounds like it should be insanely horrible to watch. Right. Let's switch to the right eye. Okay, capturing the right eye now. Whew. And do a total reload. Yeah, and like I don't, when it stutters for you, it does not stutter for me, at least not always. There's the occasional world stutter, that's just Skyrim being Skyrim. Right, this is from the NDI plugin, this time focusing on the right eye. It should still be 60 frames a second.
You must be one of those wizards from the college in Winterhold.
But now, and it should also, yeah, it should still be 60 frames a second when I turn. But this time, when I aim, you probably see the right arm more center, and the left arm is way off to the side. Yeah? You've experienced Skyrim VR, and you can confirm it's freaking awesome. It is. It is. Right. So, this is again me running around with the right eye. Running around in circles. It's so much nicer now that I've got the subtitles turned off. The general subtitles are just so annoying. I mean, it's okay to have subtitles when you talk to someone, but like when the subtitle comes up and you're passing someone, God, it's freaky. Alright, so that's it. That was Right Eye NDI plugin. Now, let's switch to the last option. It's warm here. The seam is ignorable in most circumstances. Right, I mean, some people prefer all sorts. Some people, it's a personal preference thing. I mean, I'm not... Right, I'm stopping the virtual camera. Oh, it doesn't need to stop the virtual... I'm stopping and starting the virtual camera. You don't need to stop and start a virtual camera because I'm using the NDI plugin. That may have been causing some stutters as well. Alright, doesn't matter. Right, so, now what I want to do is... Oh, right, yeah. This is where I did this one, but I've got to get this put back in the way, right? Something like that. Yeah, there you go. This is the actual Skyrim view. I believe this is left eye. I believe this is left eye. If I hold my arms in front, you probably are seeing the left eye, not the right eye view, yeah? Almost certainly. So, now, this is the Skyrim game view. It's centered on the left eye, but it should still be 60 frames a second. Like the NDI feed, it is 60 frames a second, I think. So if I stand here and look from one side to another, you should see stutter-free 60 frames a second turning. It's left eye dominant. So again, if I do this, you're seeing the world mostly from one eye, so this arm will seem more centered. I've suddenly become a dwarf. Right, is the perspective wrong? Is everything seem a bit like I'm shortened, like stretched? The perspective is wrong. And you can't see the chat with this one. Right, yeah. If we used the Skyrim... if we used the Skyrim game view, I would have to tweak this view to actually have proper aspect ratio. That's what I meant by it seems to be stretched, the feed. But it is smooth, but you don't see the chat. Now, the advantage to not seeing the chat is you don't ever accidentally get this if I But I've positioned, the reason I've got my arm like, you see it's all like twisted right down and close to my head, is because this would only be a position I'd ever get in if I was truly drawing a sword out. If I was truly drawing a... In actual fact, because of the way you get swords in this, I'm probably more likely to go like this. I'm probably more likely to... Actually, in fact, it would only be if I drew a sword out. No, I wouldn't. I'd draw a sword out like that. So you wouldn't even see that. No. It's a very awkward position for my shoulder. I couldn't keep it here for long, so it's unlikely that you're ever going to see it. Like, if I do that, you can see it flack up here. The one advantage is there is a guardian cage that's now lit up for me, so I can tell my hand is too close to a wall. The back wall, specifically in this case, you can't see that. Now, that is actually an advantage because you don't need to see that. Only I need to know that I'm getting close to the wall. You don't need to know it. So that's one advantage to not seeing everything, but you can't see the chat. And I'm guessing it feels weird that I'm looking at my hand like this and you can't see what I'm looking at. So there you go. High FOV is best FOV. Best FOV is correct FOV. There are people in the world who do not know what correct FOV is. All right. So I believe this test is pretty much over now. What does it look like without the body mod? Like most VR games, you just have an invisible body and invisible hands. And this is something that people who don't play VR find a problem. They look at it and think, but doesn't it freak you out? And the answer is it doesn't. What's weird is very, very quickly... Here's the thing. When you're playing Skyrim as a rule, does it ever freak you out that when you go forward and you open a door, you don't see your arm? It probably doesn't. It probably doesn't. You mentally, you don't think about it. It's amazing what your brain will ignore. It is amazing how much, like, things that were not normal, your brain will quite happily skip by because it's not seeing them, because it can't see your body. And you very quickly get used to seeing the invisible sword. You know your hand is there. You know your arm is there. And so you actually don't feel wrong. It's weird, but you don't feel wrong. And I know it's hard to understand. But now, if I put my arm like this, the elbow's not where my elbow is. That is freaky. The elbow is like, my elbow's way over here. I've got my arm way bent. My arm is, yeah, it's got like 60 degrees maybe. 120 degree bend in it. And this arm's straight. And that instantly I notice. It's like, that's not my arm. Or if I stand on one foot and this doesn't do it. Little things like this. Your brain ignores things it doesn't see. But it can't ignore things it sees. There is an exception, though. There is a really weird exception. In Fallout 4, for example, everyone used to freak out and say, oh, isn't it unimmersive? And I say, no, it's fine. I'm one round with guns. I don't even think about it. I feel like I'm there. And because I feel like I'm there, my brain puts me there. It is very hard to explain, but my brain puts me there. If you think about it on a day-to-day basis, you stop noticing your own arms. You stop noticing them. You stop focusing on them. Unless there's something wrong with them, right? Tell you what I did notice, though. When I was holding out a weapon, and I'd see my shadow, and I'd see the shadow of the weapon, but not myself, that freaked me out. How weird is that? How weird is that? An invisible body, my brain's fine. No shadow? My brain freaked out. It could see the shadow of the gun or the weapon, but not my shadow. It freaked out. Well, there's no body shadow because there's no body in VR. So there's no model for them to model. What they should do is put an invisible model there. But anyway, I should not be walking around just Gesticulating, or especially not near a chicken. I mean, look at this. Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah, I need to adjust the sensitivity a little bit so that it. Whose elk is this? Because this is very, very inconsiderate, if you ask me. Some. Yeah, you have to also remember that when you got your hand out, like, gotta be careful about that. Oh, I did not actually know you could do that. What happens if I put it away? Can I still slap? Drive-by slapping! I now have to roleplay the maniacal evil slapper! Come on! Anyone? Anyone? I'm not slapping the doggy. Am I wrong in thinking that the NDI view, the one eye, from, was it the left? People preferred the left, or did people prefer the right? But the NDI view, the one that had the chat and was 60 frames a second, was best. I can zoom in with that one, and I can actually zoom out a bit more with that one, and I will look into maybe seeing if it's possible to get both eyes. But I think I would need 2 instances of OBS running. I don't think I can do that, unfortunately. I'll look into it. But that seemed to be people's preference over the normal Steam Display VR thing. The one with both hands. Because although both hands is good, it was unfortunately 30 frames a second, which was bad. Oh, and the Skyrim VR one, the last test we did, that does seem to have a tiny bit of tearing as well in my estimation. We can run slobs and OBS at the same time. Oh, yeah. So if I run OBS and Streamlabs OBS on my gaming rig, each having a different eye, I will play around with that. I will give that a try. Because if we could get both eyes side by side, maybe I could do a fake merging. I'm sure there's some way to do it, although it might add to the general workload. There might be some way of doing it. So at the very least, you do get, like, say the left. I think what the normal display VR thing does is it takes about 2/3 of the screen for the VR and for the right eye, and 1/3 with stuff from the left eye only, I think. Question is whether or not that would be. You can run normal OBS twice too. Oh, well, I will think about that then. Is it bad? Is it very bad? It's bad. There's an update delay as there was with the sound. Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's just go with good idea. Not gonna work. Right. All right. Oh, sorry, I probably sounded like I cut out a little bit there. It's probably because there is a somewhat massive hit to the network with this. And so there's the network streams are probably just a little bit out of sync with each other. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, there you go. I would say overall, nice idea. Not no. just no. Yeah? Let's go with just no on that one.